Today's video, just something different. I want to chat about, I've been driving older cars, and I'm speaking about cars that are 2, 3, 4, 5 decades old. Um, since the 90s, I've really been doing that. I'm not a fan of new cars. It's just a slow, painful death for me to get into a new car every day and just get bored out of my mind. I love the degree of an involvement that an older car gives. As I sit here in my old Volvo, this car is 52 years old. But what I really wanted to chat about was obviously the virtues of old car ownership. It's widely known. I mean, there's no depreciation. You don't finance anything. You can generally pay for whatever you're buying in cash, so you don't have debt. And just the straightforwardness of them makes them very easy for anybody to maintain. But the one challenge that you're going to face if you buy an older car, whatever the brand, is parts, potentially parts, because you go and buy a new car, and certainly for the first few years after having purchased it, it's in motor plan, and after that you should still be able to get parts for another decade or so. It really concerns me, a lot of the newer cars today, what you're going to do in 20, 30 years, where you're going to find that control module for something. You're not. And that's the issue with newer cars. There's no longevity there. They're designed to be bought and used and sold and disposed of in 5 or 10 years, and they're gone. These older cars are different, and you can still use them on a daily basis, like I've proved in this one. I get into this car and I drive everywhere. If it's pouring with rain, as we had these huge rains where 140 mils fell in a few hours here in P this week, this is the car I drive. I get into it, I use it, the wipers work, I drive it like a modern car, or like I would any other car. But just getting back to the challenge of parts, there's one thing that I've realized over the years, and one thing I've always done, and it served me exceptionally well, and that's what I want to share with you now. When you buy a car like this, let's use this Volvo as an example, seeing that we're sitting in here. When you buy a car like this, the best thing to do is immediately start looking for another one exactly the same. And to give you an idea of how it works from a sums point of view, this car here I paid around 50,000 Rand for. It was in good condition, it runs nicely, everything is fine in it. But I was very apprehensive about getting in and actually driving it in case there's a bumper bashing and somebody breaks the tail light, somebody breaks a bumper, or what happens if the window regulator stops working, or what happens if this indicator stalk or the heater or anything, a caliper fails. What do you do? So immediately I got onto the online platforms and marketplace and stuff, and I started looking for another one, and I found one here in PE. And that cost me, I think the guy wanted 7,000 Rand for it. And it didn't run, but it was pretty complete. And I bought it. And I'll show you what it looks like. Let's jump out here quick. So looking at this one first, the one that I've been sitting in. Okay, that's... this is the one I've been sitting in. Over here. This is the one I use every day. It's my 144S. And this is the one I bought. And I honestly haven't used anything off it yet. But that doesn't matter. The tail lights are good. It's got a tow bar. It's got a decent bumper. It's got a nice interior here. You know, if I need a window regulator, if I need a carburetor, if I need a caliper, if I need a hubcap, whatever I need is here. And the really nice thing about this, it's actually got this period rev counter here. I don't know if you can zoom in on that. But how cool is that? So that's one of the things I'm definitely going to move into my car as soon as I've got it, but or as soon as I get a gap to do it. It's a problem, you're always too busy. But even here, and I believe the motor did run, you can start it up. It's got an electrical fuel pump being put in, but everything else is here. So you've got an alternator, you've got a fan, you've got a radiator, you've got the two Stromberg 175s, you've got relays, you've got master cylinders, you've got a grille, a front bumper, lights, indicators, a bonnet hinge, a window regulator, everything. And just that simple thing, if you have the space and the ability to keep something like that, if you buy a car, an older car, try and get another one. It'll save you thousands and thousands and thousands of Rand. And on a different scale, that's actually how old Merca started. I always drove old Mercedeses, and I got sick of buying parts from other guys. There was a guy in the Western Cape I used to buy parts from, and I was always overcharged, or the parts were faulty, or whatever. And I just decided enough, and I started buying in old 123s, because I had a 123 at the time. Started buying in old 123s for spares, and then people started buying spares from me, and that's how the old Mercar started. So obviously with older Mercedeses, if you have the space, I sell spares, but I'd encourage you to buy another one for yourself and supply yourself. But less of an issue if you've got an old Mercedes. We do have lots of spares for them here, as you can see. But anything else, buy another one. I bought for towing a Ford Territory. There's a couple of videos on the YouTube channel. The first thing I did, buy another one, and that served me so well. I needed a regulator off there, I needed some central locking bits, I needed a throttle body, I needed a boot hinge. On the Territory, the glass hinge broke. I did do a video on it on the channel as well. And where would I have sourced that in South Africa? That's an Aussie car. There weren't a lot of them sold here. Where would I have sourced it? And I went to my garden, I opened the thing, and we had the hinge right there. And yeah, so that's really the thing. I've got a Mazda MX-6 as well. I'm busy looking for another spare one in case I need a tail light, in case I need a regulator, in case I need whatever. It's something I've always done, and if you have the space, I encourage you to do it yourself. It will save you thousands of rand, and it will just, give you that peace of mind to actually be able to use your classic car. So it's a great solution. Thanks for watching, and if you enjoy the channel, please subscribe.